detectives, and welcome to my second update video for what has been a very unusual March. I have spent most of the past 2 weeks staying at home. Today is officially day 11 of self-isolating for me, and I know a lot of you all around the country and all around the world are the same. Lots of governments have been asking people who live in those countries to stay at home, to not go out. And although this is something that is not coming easily to a lot of people, I'm finding it really unexpectedly hard not to be able to just go out to the shops, go out to the post office, go see friends. But this is something that is really, really important. It is so crucial right now that as many of us as possible do not go out, to make sure that the people who do have to go out, because there are very important workers working in supermarkets, working in care homes, working for health services in different countries, all of those people can go out and keep making sure that people are kept safe and fed and happy. So that is why I am staying at home at the moment, and I hope and I suspect that a lot of you will be doing the same. Because these are such unique circumstances, I certainly have never lived through anything like this before, and I don't know many people who have. We're all having to learn how to adapt to this very strange and very new way of living. And what I have found is that I have a lot less concentration than usual. Things that should normally take me just a morning are taking me all day. It has taken me almost 2 weeks to finish going over the copy edit for Murder Most Unladylike 9, when normally it would have only taken me a week. Don't worry though, I am working very hard on it. It is finished now, it is about to go back to my editor, and everything is going forward absolutely as normal. But in general, it is just taking me much longer to manage to do anything. In this video, I'm going to give you a few things that I have found quite helpful at this time, and that I hope you will as well. And the first thing that I want to talk about is rereading. Now, normally I'm somebody who loves picking up new books, discovering new worlds and new authors, but right now, when things are so uncertain around me, when things seem to be changing all the time, I really want some comfort. And for me, there are certain books that really give me comfort to reread. I'm always somebody who really champions rereading. I think it's fantastic, and I spend a lot of time telling adults, parents, and teachers that it is absolutely okay for anyone to reread one of my books or anyone else's books. You discover new things when you reread. You discover new words, new levels and layers to the text and the story. I think it's such an important and such a wonderful and rich things to do. But especially in times that are difficult, in times that are a bit confusing, I think rereading is one of the best things that you can do. So I'm going to suggest just a few books that help me when I'm feeling down, and I think might help you. But of course, you will have your own favorite comfort reads. This, I would say, is the week and the month to just be reading whatever you want, reading anything that feels comforting and lovely to you, and everyone will have their own version of what that is. The first author who brings me comfort in difficult times is probably not going to be surprising to you, and it is, of course, Agatha Christie. Now, I have read every single one of Agatha Christie's books probably about 10 times. I find them so comforting. And I know a lot of people find murder mysteries particularly comforting to read when they are worried or scared or confused. And I think that that is because murder mysteries are so set. In every single murder mystery, there is a crime, a murder, and then of course it's solved at the end. So when you pick one up, even if you haven't read it before, you sort of know what's going to happen. You're not surprised or shocked by the overall plot. But I think rereading murder mysteries gives you even more of a sense of comfort, because you don't just know that the murder is going to be solved. You know exactly who did it and exactly how the mystery is going to be solved. So when you reread it again, it's absolutely calm and certain and lovely. You're never surprised. You're never confused. You always know what's going on. And that is, I think, why murder mystery books, and especially Agatha Christie's books, are so comforting to me in times of stress. And I've especially picked this book, The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side, because if you have read it, you will know that there is something in it to remind you of the need for social distancing, the need to stay away, to stay home if you're not feeling 100%. And that is something that we all really need to remember now and always, and something that Agatha Christie clearly was interested in thinking about. So this is the Agatha Christie to read if you want something new, or if you don't, just choose your own favorite murder mystery author and reread some of their books. Now, the second type of book that I find immensely comforting when I am stressed is romance novels. Novels where people fall in love with each other, and that is for almost the same reason as murder mysteries. Because again, there's a very set plot. You know that two people are going to meet, they're going to fall in love, and they're going to live happily ever after. And that is so nice to know. It is nice to read about people having happy lives when your life might not be perfect at this very moment. And one of my favorite romance novel authors, I have lots, but this is one of the first romance novel authors who I ever read, is Eva Ibbotson. And this is my favorite book of hers, and as you can tell, I have read this book until it's nearly falling apart. The cover is about to fall off. Now, Eva Bbotson writes books for younger readers as well, and you might have heard of those books. I have talked about her book, The Secret of Platform 13, before, but I love them all. But she also writes books for people, I would say, sort of 12, 13 plus, that are very gentle romances. And again, I say this is my favorite, A Company of Swans. It's about a girl who lives in Cambridge who secretly wants to be a ballerina. She becomes a ballerina, she travels to Brazil, and she falls in love with a very kind and very rich rubber baron who lives in Brazil. It is such a wonderful escapist book. I completely love it. And at one point I'd read it so many times that I could recite almost the whole thing from memory. So even when the book wasn't with me, I was still able to tell myself this story. So this book has been really important for me in my life, and I'm definitely going to be rereading a lot of my Eva Ibbotsons and my other romance novel favorites again. And finally, I have chosen the book that I have been rereading this week that has got me out of my reading slump and reminded me how great it is to reread. And it is Natasha Pulley's The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. I would say this is for about sort of 13, 14 plus. It's historical, it's a bit steampunk, which is a word for sort of clockwork and slightly strange happenings, like strange scientific happenings. It's a little bit magical. It's got a little bit about time travel. If you've read The Time Traveler's Wife, this has a slightly similar storyline. It's a romance as well as being a time travel novel and a steampunk novel. This is such a romantic book. As I say, it's so lovely. It does have a bit of a frightening beginning because it's all about a bomb going off, but Thaniel is fine and the book isn't really about a bombing ultimately. The sequel to The Watchmaker of Filigree Street, The Lost Future of Pepper Harrow, is just out last month, and now that I've reread this book and reminded myself of the world of Thaniel and Maury the Watchmaker, I'm going to be able to go on and read that new book. And I think that's the other thing to say about rereading. I find it even more comforting than anything else to reread series fiction, to feel like you're friends with a group of characters for a long time. That's partly, I think, why I write series fiction, because I love the feeling of going back to meet characters you already know you love. So that is a bit about rereading what I have been rereading and why I think it might be a good thing for you to do as well. If you just can't settle to books at the moment, that is fine. I've been finding it really comforting to cook and bake a lot. And of course, if you would like some ideas for that, I have a book that could help out. Cream Buns and Crime has lots of recipes at the back that should be quite easy for you to bake through. I think in the next few weeks, I might be doing some baking myself from Cream Buns and Crime. And if I do, I'll of course be sharing that on my social media, so look out for that. I've also been doing some gardening. I went to buy some seeds and I've been growing lots of plants in pots. And again, you can go look on my social media for that. My potato plants are looking great, which is so boring and so normal that it's really, really calming me down. Finally, if you haven't already, I would really recommend you go and have a look at the Doctor Who official Instagram or Twitter account and have a look at the 13th Doctor's message to everyone at the moment. Even if you don't watch Doctor Who, I think it's a really lovely thing. She is so comforting. She is so lovely. It really gave me hope and it gave me heart and it made me cry a bit too. It's just a wonderful message that I think we all need to hear right now. If you haven't seen it already, I am currently running writing prompts on my website, robin-stevens.co.uk. I'm putting a new one up every single Monday. The first one is up now. It is all about writing about historical mystery that you're interested in, and I have been so impressed by the range of ideas you've had, by your level of skill. You guys are fantastic. I'll be posting the next one on Monday morning, and I'll be posting, as I say, every single week after that. So do keep an eye out if you have a bit of time and you would like to do some writing. Over the next few weeks and months, I am going to be doing all I can to support you online, to share events online, because as you may have seen, I am not going to be doing any events until at least the end of June. This is partly for my own health. I need to be careful. I need to be careful to look after the people in my immediate family, but it's also for your health and the health of your loved ones. I do not want to be, as I've said before, I do not want to be the person who's putting you all in an enclosed space, making you sit very close to each other to watch one of my events, because that is, of course, how diseases pass from person to person, and I do not want to contribute to that at all. So at the moment, I will only be doing events online, but I hope that's a good thing, because it means that more people than ever before can see my events and can communicate and connect with me. So watch out on my website, watch out on my social media, my Instagram and my Twitter. Those are both at redbreastedbird, to find out what I'm going to be doing and see how you can join in. So that's all the update I have for you at the moment. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying calm and well. I wish you all the best. I think you are doing fantastically, and I'm so proud of you. And I'll be back here soon with more updates. Goodbye.